everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back with another sit down video. I also love watching sit down like book videos. I think they're just so fun and just so therapeutic. I love putting them on as background noise when I'm like doing chores around the house, or just like even sometimes when I'm doing homework, like back in school, I'll literally put on like a sit down book video and I'll just do homework while listening to that. I don't know, I just feel like there's something so like sentimental about them, and there's just something so, I don't know, just comforting about them, I guess. But yeah, as you can probably guess by the title, I am doing another sit down book video, but this time I am doing all the books I read this summer, which pains me to say. I can't believe that summer is over. In case you don't know, summer is truly my favorite season of all time. I don't know if it's because I live in Southern California, so like I just naturally love summer and we don't really get any other season besides summer here, but I truly love summer. I thrive in summer. There's just nothing like a good sunshine day to just make your day feel better, and I just love summer so much. So I'm so sad that it's coming to an end. One more summer video I read this summer. So in total, also if you see me like look down, it's because I have a little notepad here of like notes and stuff that I want to talk about for each of the books that I read. So for this summer, I read a total of 15 books in total, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, it doesn't matter how many books you read, but I do notice that I read a lot of books when I am during summer. I don't know what it is particularly about summer. There's just something that just puts me in a reading mood, which is just so random because I think you would think it'd be fall, but I feel like when I'm in school, I don't really read a lot of books because I'm just reading a lot of text. So make it that way you will. But I read 15 books in total. 8 of them were physical and then 7 of them were on Kindle, which honestly, that tracks a lot. I feel like honestly, which that tracks a lot. I do feel like I read, I mean, it's only difference is by one book, but I do feel like I read more books at night on my Kindle, and then during the day I read more physical books. So make it that way you will. Have them, the only order that I have them in is just the way that I read them. So I don't have them in any particular order. It's just the way that I read them in, starting back at the end of May all the way up until now. I just finished my last book this morning, and so I thought it'd be perfect done because I am gonna start a new book, which I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, should I tell you guys what I'm starting? Actually no, wait till the end of the video to see what I'm starting. Anywho, let's just get started. So the first book that I read was actually on my Kindle. Who's surprised? No one is. It is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This is my first Catherine Center book that I have ever read in my life, and truthfully, I loved it. It was so entertaining. It was just so funny and so magical. I think the way that she writes her characters is just so fun. Like truly, like there's no like, I don't want to say there's no twist, but there really is like no like big climax. Like, you know, it's all going to get resolved in the end, but it's just a fun book to read, especially to go into summer reading. You're essentially following these two characters. I didn't write down their names, which I don't know what that says, that I couldn't remember their names, but I'm sure it was great. But the premise was great though. You're basically the bodyguard. You're following this girl, the main character. She is a bodyguard, which is so cool and so different. I feel like typically it's the man who's the bodyguard, but she's a bodyguard, and I think that was just so interesting to read, especially from like a woman's perspective. So she's a bodyguard and she works with all different types of client, who is a famous like actor, really high-end celebrity, and he's been getting like some stalker threats and stuff, and so he has to hire her on as a bodyguard. But the twist is he doesn't want his parents to know because he's staying at his parents' ranch, but he doesn't want his family to know that she's a bodyguard, so she has to pretend to be his girlfriend. And it's just so interesting, and the way that they interact with each other is so hilarious, and the things that she says and does is just iconic. And his family is so sweet. I love his family so much. Giving it again, look at my notepad because I can't remember anything, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was really good, but there was just like, I knew everything in the end was going to get resolved, and so because of that, I really just wasn't too concerned about what was going to happen, and so I was there for a good time, not a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. But I will definitely be reading more books by her. This book that I read, arguably this might be my favorite of the summer. I'm on the fence. I don't know yet, but it is Fearless by Lauren Roberts, aka the last book in the Powerless trilogy. Well, I guess it's not. Also, there is a bee right by my window. Thank God it's closed. Anywho, this isn't technically the last book because she's coming out with another novella. I mean, she says she has more to do in the world, but this is the last book with Kai and Peyton and Kit. So yeah, but oh my God, if you guys know me, you guys know I absolutely love the Powerless trilogy. It is seriously one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and I truly mean that. The way that Lauren Roberts writes It's just so magical. Also, she created Kai, like, I mean, duh. But say what happened in this book, because if you haven't read Powerless or Reckless, then this book is going to give away what happens in those two books. So I won't be talking about the plot essentially, but I will be talking about her writing. I feel like her writing, if you read Powerless and then you read Fearless, you can tell her writing has just so matured, especially in this book. I'll say it again, dual POV is the best POV. I'm not kidding you. I love getting multiple perspectives in a book. Give me 3 of them and you give me 4. Like, I do not care. I love getting multiple POVs in this book. I think when you get multiple character POVs, you really understand the world more and just the characters more as to who they are. And truly, this book was immaculate and it was so much fun, and I shed multiple tears. I had so much anxiety while reading this book. I literally stayed up and I finished it in 2 days because I genuinely was just so nervous for Kai and Peyton. And oh my god, I mean, the things that Kai says to Peyton, the things that Peyton says to Kai, they know each other so well, and I truly loved how this wrapped up. I obviously gave it 5 stars. No surprise there. It's just seriously one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Azur. Really, I need a t-shirt that says I heart Kai Azur, because I do. Like, I seriously do. And I mean, I can make a 14-minute video about how much I love Kai Azur. Like, I have not read the Powerless trilogy. I highly recommend that you do because it is perfect. Also, if you hear any like banging noise, there's construction again going across from my street. They've been doing construction on this house for literally the past 5 months, and it looks the exact same. Anywho, what I read is The Tenant by Frida McFadden. If you are in a reading slump, I highly recommend reading anything by Frida McFadden. First of all, this is insane, but I just found this out a couple days ago. Apparently, she is a neurosurgeon, or she just was something with psychology and neurosurgeon. I think she's a doctor. Is she? I may be wrong on that. I think she might be a doctor. She's a doctor. In my mind, she's a doctor, but I believe she's a neurosurgeon, and she does something with like psychology and like psychological disorder. Like, I read The Tenant by her, which is her new book. It just came out, I think it came back out in March, February. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure when it came out, but it came out this year, I'm pretty sure. It's becoming a TV show, which is so cool, and so is her other book, The Housemaid, which I read and I loved. So I'm really excited to see this. This book, this was good. This was really, really good. It's not my favorite from her, but like, I think this is one of those books, dare I say, that I think actually might be better on screen. I don't know what that says about me, but I do feel like, but this book was so good. Essentially, you're following, I can't really give you the synopsis of this book because it will give it away, but following this one guy, and he lives in an apartment with his girlfriend, and they end up needing a roommate because he recently lost his job. So they need a roommate, so they end up getting a roommate, and just weird shit starts going on throughout the house. Like, the house, like, there's like rotten apples, there's just like weird stuff that like he can't explain that keeps going on in the house, and he is confident that it is his roommate who is causing all this. And essentially, you were just like following this man like truly spiral into like madness. Like, he is just so convinced that it is this roommate. The only reason I ended up rating it 4 stars was because there was another twist that happened before the final twist that I did see coming, and I had a feeling all along it was this other person. Again, I don't want to say like who, but I had a feeling that this twist was coming, and I did guess the twist. I didn't guess the second twist. I think there was a third twist too. I didn't guess the last 2 twists, but I did guess the first twist. So, I'm a genius. The next book I read was also on my Kindle, and it is Children of Fallen Gods. It is the set by Carissa Broadbent. I think that's how you say her last name, but it is Children of Fallen Gods. It is the second book in the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. I read the first book back in March. Loved it. I've heard some people say if you want like a darker version of Throne of Glass, to read that book, and you guys know Throne of Glass, favorite series of all time. So I picked up the first book, and I picked up the first book, which is called Daughter of No Worlds. Love that book so much. Gave it 4.5 stars. The second book finally, which is called Children of Fallen Gods, and oh my goodness, let me tell you, I have so much to debrief. But essentially, you're following Max and Tishani, who in the second book, again, I can't really say too much because of the plot, you know, I don't want to give it away, but you're following Max and Tishani, who are in this world of just, there's politics, there's war, there's magical systems, there's fae. It's basically fae versus human. That's the best way I would describe this book. Her other series, The Servant and the Wings of the Night, which is one of my favorite series of all time, there's something about her writing that truly does it for me every single time. First of all, I love how all of her books all dual POV. You will always get the guy and the girl's POV, and sometimes you'll get someone else's POV. Again, like I mentioned previously, dual POV is the best POV. So in this book, you're following Max and Tishani again, but you're also getting someone else's POV, which I can't tell you whose other POV you're getting because it will like give it away. But anyhow, you're getting this other person's POV. We'll call them Claire. You're getting Claire's POV in this book. That's not her name whatsoever, but we'll call them Claire. So you're getting Max to Shawnee, and then this third person, aka named, who I'm naming Claire, their POV, and you're just following them along this journey, right? So here's the thing. This book is like, her books are pretty big. So I want to say the first 150 pages took me truly forever to get through, because there was honestly nothing going on the first 150 pages. Like, it was just a lot of politics and stuff, and it was interesting, but there was no like really action. There wasn't like anything substantial happening, and I was like, okay, where are we going from here? Well, then she threw in the third person's POV, and then it got interesting, and I didn't know. Apparently, after I finished this book, I went on Goodreads to see what other people thought, and apparently you're just supposed to know that this person, like, this is their POV. I didn't know that it was this person's POV. I thought it was another girl's POV. So if you've read Children of Fallen Gods, let me know if you guessed who the third person's POV was, because the whole point with this is so confusing if you haven't read the series, but the whole point with the POV is that it's someone's name, but it's not really their real name. Like, you know them by a different name. Does that make sense? I was like, wait, what? Like, that's them? I was really shocked. So this definitely bumped it up a few stars because I was so shocked. But the ending, oh my god, the ending. I'm giving it 4 stars only because the first 150/200 pages were just really slow, and it was just a lot of politics, and I was honestly kind of bored. But literally once I got past those 200 pages, I'm not kidding you, flew by. Like, the next book that I read is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. If you don't know who Carly Fortune is, she always writes books that, well, most of her books I would say are taking place at, I believe, Barry's Bay or something like that. Yeah, Barry's Bay. Most of her books are taking place at Barry's Bay, and she writes these like lake house books. They're just so romantic. Carly Fortune's books so much. I've read every single one of her books. She is just an auto-buy author for me. Whatever she puts out, I will read, because there's just something about her books where like they click in my brain. I don't know what it is. I know there's some people who don't like her writing. I love her writing. I do not care what you say. I love her writing for me, and I feel like it is not summer unless I read a Carly Fortune book. I recommend that you read Every Summer After, because in this book you're following the older brother Charlie, who is in the book Every Summer After, except Every Summer After is about Sam, his younger brother. And it's really important that you read that book first, because if you don't, you'll get spoiled for what happens in Every Summer After in this book for so long. Because in case you don't know, this book is about Charlie, and Charlie's the elder brother, like I just mentioned, Every Summer After. And I always wanted Charlie's book. I was always so upset that like we never got Charlie's book, because I thought Charlie was so interesting. Charlie and Alice. And Alice is a photographer, and she decides that she really wants to get away from the city, and she decides to take her and her grandmother back to their family's like friend's lake house, and just spend like one last summer at Barry's Bay before they head back into the city together. And then she meets Charlie, and just like everything sort of changes, because Alice is very like list oriented. It's the complete opposite of Alice, like so loud, so fun, just energetic, like full on. Charlie truly is golden retriever energy. And the whole premise of this book is they end up making a list that each of them have to accomplish, and you're following them throughout this whole entire book while they're at Barry's Bay. And I ate this up. You best believe I ate this up. Every single word, I ate this up. I finished it in 2 days. I never felt so comforted by a book in my life. This book just felt like such a nice hug. I ended up giving this book obviously 5 stars. It really is not summer unless I read her books, and truly the way that she portrayed Charlie and Alice in this book is just, I felt like I knew Charlie and Alice so well. A read of the series for a minute, because I know the most recent book just came out, and that is The Hunger Games. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, The Hunger Games. Susan Collins, we all know this. She writes when she has something to say, and I think that is incredible, especially where we're at in our world right now. It is so scary, and I just truly feel like, I don't know, I just wanted to reread this book because she just put out Haymitch's book, and I haven't read it yet, and I've heard from a lot of people to reread The Hunger Games, because I haven't read The Hunger Games since I was in middle school, and I was like, you know what, I really want to reread it, because I do obviously want to read Haymitch's book. I love it so much. Katniss has always been one of my favorite protagonists of all time. I mean, in my letterbox, my top 4 in my letterbox is literally Catching Fire. Reading this, and I ate this up. I literally finished it in a day. I forgot how easy these books also are to get through as well. The next book that I read is A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I know what you're all saying, Mariah, why did you read that on your Kindle? You're an Emily Henry girly. Why do you not have the physical copy of that? It's time I come clean. In case you don't know, I haven't mentioned this before. People in my personal life know this, but like I haven't mentioned it to you guys. But I actually don't buy Emily Henry books until they get into paperback, because when I first started reading Emily Henry, yes, I've been an OG. I have been an OG. I literally, I have been an OG, and this is my biggest flex ever. She published her first novel, Beach Read, on my birthday. She published Beach Read on my birthday, and I went to Barnes & Noble's, obviously, on my birthday, and Beach Read was there, like, I forget, like, how many years, this like 5-6 years ago, I can't remember, but I think it was like 5 years ago, I can't remember. I did pick up Beach Read, and I read it in there, so I have been an OG fan. So because of that, I like the nostalgic feeling of paperbacks. She's moved to, like, traditionally publishing, like, hardbacks, which, good, you go, girl, like, you get that bag, like, I'm happy for you, don't get me wrong here, but there's just something so nostalgic for me about paperbacks, Emily Henry, that I'm like, I can't get the hardback. I'm so sorry. So essentially what I do is I literally will pre-order it on my Kindle. That way it'll be in my Kindle the day that it comes out, and then I'll read it on my Kindle, and then I wait a full year for the paperback to come out, and then I go buy the paperback. So yeah, like literally, like a couple months ago, Funny Story paperback came out, and I got Funny Story paperback, and then I do a reread of that novel, and then I'll like annotate it and everything. So Henry novel is Book Lovers. A Great Big Beautiful Life. Let's just really get into it. Like, it's just so well done. Essentially, you're following the story of Alice and Hayden. There's a lot of Alice. I've noticed a lot of characters. I don't know if it was like a summer thing, but I've noticed a lot of the books that I've read, a lot of their main characters' names are named Alice. I'm not mad at that, but I just noticed that. Anywho. So, you're following Alice and Hayden, and Alice, she is a writer, and she has essentially been chosen to potentially write the memoir of a very famous, like, lady who, it's basically like The Last Great American Dynasty. If you listen to The Last Great American Dynasty by Taylor Swift, it's literally that. She's a writer, and she has been chosen to potentially write the memoir of a famous I think she was a famous, like, actress a famous heiress who has never been seen by the public for, like, the past, like, 40 years. Like, she's disappeared off the face of the earth. However, when she gets to this, like, remote, like, area, she finds out that it's not just her, that the job isn't technically hers. It also might be this other guy, Hayden, who is also a writer as well. And so basically for the next, I believe it's like 2 weeks, they are essentially fighting over who gets to write this memoir, and the heiress will pick who she thinks will write the best memoir based on the 2 weeks. There is something I will eat up every single time when it is a writers to writers, like, rivalry. Oh, it does so well. It does so well. I'm not kidding. I love when it's like two writers competing against each other trying to get this book. Oh, it eats so well. It clicks in my brain so well. Oh, I didn't see coming. Like, Emily Henry, like, this is a twist, and this was the first time I didn't see the twist coming. I really did not see the twist coming, and I really like what she did with this book, and I just loved Alice as a character. I think Alice, I relate to her so much because she loves the color pink. Same. She just loves wearing, like, fun colors and just, like, being a girl. Like, she's such a girl's girl. It's like Alice is like sunshine and rainbows, and then you have Hayden, who's like this dark cloud, like, literally. And just to see the two of them interact with each other, but also to see, like, why they both love writing so much and how their writing styles, like, differ from each other. I loved it so much. Truly, this honestly might be my favorite Emily Henry book. You guys know my favorite Emily Henry book is Book Lovers. That's superior in every single way. But this might be my favorite. This might have done it, because for sure. But I give this book 5 stars. I love Emily Henry. Her writing just clicks to me. The book that I read is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Guys. Okay, snowflakes, sit down. Like, literally, like, grab your drink, sit down, grab your popcorn. Oh my gosh. Where do I even begin? You guys know I love V.E. Schwab. One of my favorite books of all time. It's probably my second favorite book of all time. My favorite book of all time is Daisy Jones and the Six. Obviously, Throne of Glass is, like, god tier, like, amazing. But my other favorite book, if I had to pick top 3 favorite books, like, they're all ranked number 1, it's Throne of Glass, it's Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's The Invisible Life of Ida LaRue, which I've also have had the honor of meeting V.E. Schwab. I met her like 2 years ago, and such a blur, but I literally met her 2 years ago, or no, I met her 3 years ago? Was it 3 years ago? 2 years ago? It might have been 3 years ago. I met her a couple years ago, and it was just kind of crazy because A, she's the nicest human being on earth, but also my mom, while I was meeting V.E. Schwab, was talking like her assistant. It was like crazy. But Midnight Soil, basically how it's being described and how I would describe it to you, it's basically, you're getting 3 POVs from 3 different women. It's basically about toxic lesbian vampires. That is what it's about, like verbatim. 3 POVs. So you're getting Sabine's POV, you're getting Charlotte's POV, and then you also get Alice's POV. Again, another Alice, I love. And you're getting Alice's POV. 3 vampires, but they're all from different time periods. So the first vampire, I believe she's from the 1500s. The next vampire is from the 1800s, and then the last vampire, she is from the 20th century. Vampires and how their lives all intertwine with one another, and how the timeline like catches up to all of them. And it was just truly so fascinating to read. I really felt like I was back in Vampire Diaries. I'm also like rewatching the originals for like the 50th time, and I really felt like I was back in Vampire Diaries. Like, oh, invested on what was going to happen to these three women, and I just was like, because they're so toxic, all of them are toxic, but yet they all have like different reasons for being toxic. But then there's like different, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but like there's just like different reasons as to why they're all toxic and why they are the way they are. And also, first of all, the title, I love the title. If I ever met her, I have so many questions. Like, if I could interview her for this book, I would love to, because I just have so many questions. But also, the way that each vampire, like, needs a different thing, which is super interesting. V.E. Schwab writes, I've said it and I'll say it again, her writing is some of my favorite writing of all time. I'm not kidding you. Like, this should be a classic in my mind, Live and Die on that Hill. I love V.E. Schwab. I cherish every time we get a new V.E. Schwab book, because it is just incredible, and it's just my favorite of all time. And this might have been my favorite of the summer, because the way, the twist, the writing, like, I remember every single detail about this book. Obviously, I give this 5 stars. It's immaculate. It might be my favorite read of the summer. The book that I read is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, probably one of my favorite romance book authors of all time. My other favorite is Liz Tomford. You girlies know this, just for the summer, her last book before this book was my favorite read of the whole entire year last year. So I was so excited to pick up her next book, which is Say You'll Remember Me. Hello, Taylor Swift. But it's Say You'll Remember Me, and this book, you're essentially following this character name. You're following 2 characters named Samantha and Xavier. Again, dual POV. We already know how I feel about that. You're following Samantha and Xavier, and Samantha, she is a social media, like, marketing girly, so she does social media for this company, and Xavier is a veterinarian, which, fun fact, when I was little, I was so dead set on being a veterinarian, like, so dead set, that I didn't want to do that. And as I got older, I realized I wanted to do, like, marketing and advertising, full thing. So, like, I feel like I'm, like, a combination of the both. They are just both so sweet characters, but essentially that's who you're following. But unfortunately, they go on a date for the first time, literally probably the best day in history. It's just such an incredible date. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out between the two of them, because Samantha has to move back home to SoCal. Hello? Like, where I'm from. Samantha has to unfortunately move back there to take care of her mom, and Xavier obviously lives, I forget where he lives, on the East Coast. So unfortunately, the long distance just isn't going to work, but they want it to work. And the way that Abby Jimenez wrote this book is just so beautiful, because someone who has seen someone else in my family be a caregiver to another person in the family, I have such emotional ties to this book, because the way that Abby Jimenez writes about, you know, like, because Samantha, she is a caregiver for some half of the book to her mom, and I've seen that in my family personally. Like, my mom was a caregiver to my grandmother, so I feel like I really understand everything that Samantha was going through. And Xavier just being the sweetest, and not even, like, because there's sometimes, like, Samantha, she has to stop what she's doing to take care of her mom, and Xavier's like, I totally get it, like, do you need help, like, what do you need? And truly, Xavier was just everything you should look for in a husband. I mean, truly, like, I was just, like, blown away by this man's kindness, and how he was like, what do you need? Like, he'll drop anything to go be with her, because he just cares and loves about her so much. And I just think that was just so beautiful to see, and I loved it so much. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, which might be like, Mariah, you just said you loved it. Why do you give it 4.5 stars? Listen here, 4.5 stars does not mean I didn't like it. Okay, if anything, it means I'd probably reread it again, and you best believe I will be. I just gave it 4.5 stars only because I did feel like the ending was really, really rushed. Like, I feel like the ending was just really rushed. And I really wish that it would have been maybe like 50 pages longer. Like, if this would have been like 412 pages, probably would have gotten 5 stars. I just feel like the ending was super rushed, and I wish it was a little bit longer. That's the only reason why I didn't give it 5 stars. But 4.5 stars, I love this. I still do think my favorite book still is Just for the Summer, but this is also a very top tier contender, because it is just so swoon worthy, and it's just really cute. The book that I read is on my Kindle, and it is the last book in the Daughter of No Worlds trilogy, and it is Mother of Death and Dawn. I don't even know, like, where to begin with this book. Again, I can't really give you the synopsis for this book because obviously I don't want to like spoil what happens in the trilogy, but it is the last book in the trilogy, and wow, perfection. Might I just say perfection. I gave this book 5 stars. Just the two main characters, obviously you're following Max and Tashani, and the way that the author just writes them is so beautiful, and I just feel like I was rooting for them throughout the whole entire book. I'm not kidding you. We have to protect Max at all costs. Whatever we do in this life, we have to protect Max at all costs. 2 of them together are just like perfect. But like the twist that happened in this book, oh my gosh, when I tell you, I was crying literally every 100 pages. And this is such an underrated trilogy. Please, please, please read this trilogy. The last book is personally my favorite in the trilogy. It answers all the questions. There's so many twists and turns. It's like she saved up everything for this last book, and it just makes so much sense. I gave this book 5 stars. I gave the first book 4.5. I gave the second one 4 stars, and then this one 5 stars. So please, 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 please read it. If you're not sure, please, the last book, I'm not kidding you. Oh, immaculate. Like, okay, my next book that I read, I'm still on the fence about this book. I really don't know what to say. But I read The Favorites by Lynn Fargo. Listen, girls, I don't know what to say for this book. I really don't know how I feel. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel. Essentially, in case you don't know, I mean, I feel like this is kind of like blown up all over the internet, which obviously well deserved, as it should. But essentially you're following the main character, Katharina. I think her name might be Katrina, but like for some reason, and this might be because I'm rewatching the originals right now, but in my mind she's Katarina, and I don't know why, but like I'm pretty sure it's Katrina, but in my mind she's Katarina. So each to their own, but I'm calling her Katarina. But essentially you're following Katarina, and you're following Katarina, who is an Olympic ice skater. She is probably the best ice skater that has ever ice skated in her whole entire life. And you're following her and basically her childhood friend Heath, and how Heath and Katarina have grown up together in this world of Olympic ice skating, and just all of the trials and turmoils they have had to go through is insane. Like, I'm not kidding you. Just every 50 pages there was something else going on. There was drama. The drama in this book is genuinely insane, and I mean, my mouth was open half the time while reading this book because I was like, what? I was like, there's just no way. Like, the drama was ill. I was eating it up, don't get me wrong, but it was insane. But then there was like a little twist that happened in this book, which if you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. The last 50 pages, you know what I'm talking about. I really didn't like it, and I really didn't like how the main character, Katarina, she like shoved it under the rug because it was so out of character for her. Like, I feel like she wouldn't shove that under the rug, but she did shove it under the rug, and I was just really confused, and I don't know, it was just the last 50 pages that I really couldn't get behind. I gave it 4.5 stars, but I'm leaning between 4 or 4.5. I really haven't settled. It's definitely in the 4-star realm, but I just don't know, because then I'm like, maybe it should be 4.5 stars because I still can't stop not thinking about this book, but then I'm like, I just don't like the last 50 pages, so I'm like, is it just 4 stars? I don't know. Do with that what you will. And then the second to last book that I read on my Kindle is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. This is my first Megan Quinn novel, and dare I say, will not be my last novel. Will not be my last one from her because I loved her writing. Wow. This was so hilarious. Essentially, the main character girl in this novel, she works at this company where it's like every single one, first of all, she's the only girl working at this company besides her boss, and everyone in this company, including her boss, is either married, engaged, or like has a boyfriend. Like, they're all like husband obsessed. Like, they're all like husband and girlfriend, like husband and wife obsessed, essentially, and she's the only one single one in her company. And so when she's having a company meeting with them, one of the guys calls her out for like not having one. She was actually, I do have a husband. So she pretends that she has a husband. Well, unfortunately, she has to go on like a marriage retreat with all of the other people from her work, and so she ends up needing someone to be her fake husband. And so her best friend enlists his brother to be her like husband for the week. And guys, it is so funny. I'm not kidding you. This book had me cracking up nonstop. First of all, it's dual POV, which I loved because I feel like the stuff that the guy does for her that she doesn't realize just made it even better. It's like the adult version of The Parent Trap, and it was so funny. Like, the stuff that would happen here, it was comical. Like, there was really no big climax. There was no like anything like that. It was just a fun read, and sometimes that's all you need. You just need a silly, fun little read to just, separate yourself from the world. And that's exactly what this was. And they are so different. Like, he is so golden retriever energy and she is so black cat energy, and so their interactions with each other are just the complete opposite. And okay, the next book that I read is Catching Fire by Susan Collins. This is my favorite Hunger Games novel of all time. Also, my top 4 in Letterboxd is Catching Fire, the movie. So you girls know I already beat this up. Essentially, I feel like everyone knows what this book is, so I feel like I can say it, but essentially you're following Katniss and Peeta. Katniss is back in the Hunger Games once again because it's a quarter quell, and you're following them, and Finnick! You know how much I love Finnick. This is just immaculate. I mean, this is like, to me, I mean, it's just everything. Just the way that the characters interact with each other, the way that you get new characters and you learn more things about Panem and everything is just so fascinating. And again, it's still my favorite novel. It's just too good. It really is. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just too good, to perfection. And I gave this obviously 5 stars. And then the next book I read, obviously, is The Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Again, 5 stars. Just perfection. I mean, what a way to end a novel. I really can't say enough about this novel. I think everyone in their life should read this because it truly is just so prevalent to what's going on in today's society, and also just everything around the world. But like, it just, I don't know, so many things in our society right now. And it's just, everyone should read this. I think it's truly like, it's just beautiful. And poor Peeta. Can we just say poor Peeta? Poor Finnick. Oh, like, I feel like I can say that. I feel like you know what happens. But literally, if you haven't read this, please read this. Like, what are you doing? But like, oh, it's just so good. Next novel that I read is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Cyril. I think that's how you say her last name. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But yes, One Italian Summer. I'm so sad I'm ending this on a sad note. I did not like this book at all. The premise, let me just say, you're following this girl named Katie, who Katie's mother has unfortunately passed away. And, her mom is also named Carol, and she just calls her mom Carol. She never calls her mom. It's like, it's weird. But essentially, you're following this girl named Katie, and her mother, whose name is Carol. Katie and Carol, they decided that they were going to take this Italian trip that her mom took when she was in her 20s, and she wants desperately to take with Katie. And so they planned the whole trip. They decided to take it that summer, but unfortunately, Katie's mom unexpectedly passes away, and so Katie is left with the distraught of not being with her mom anymore, because her mom and her were very close. Like, I'm talking like Lorelai Gilmore and Rory Gilmore close. And so Katie decides she's going to leave her husband. She's going to take this trip by herself. And her husband's so supportive. Her husband's like, yeah, babe, like, do it. Like, I'm with you, you know? Take the trip, you know? So she decides to take the trip to this town in Italy and just basically do the whole trip. However, when she is there, she ends up seeing her mother there, except when her mother was in her 20s taking that trip. So, like, a year before she met Katie's father. Katie is getting to learn what her mother was like in her late 20s, the same age that Katie is. I really did like how the author made it like the town, I feel like I was truly in this part of Italy, and I really felt like I could see everything clear. Like, the aesthetic of the town, I think, was so there, and it really made me feel like I was in Italy. However, I could not connect to the main character, Katie, whatsoever. I really couldn't. She really annoyed me, actually. I didn't like how she really did not, I feel like she didn't understand that her mother is her own person. And also, this was like a year before her mother had met her father. So it was just really weird because, like, obviously her mother is in Italy and there's like cute guys there. So obviously her mother's gonna, you know, have a summer fling. And Katie was so like distraught by that because she's like, how could you do that? But also, this is her mom in her 20s when she hadn't met her dad yet. So like, and I just feel like Katie really held that against her. And I was like, do you not understand? Like, your mother is like your own person. And the other thing was that Katie, like, she ends up meeting this guy on her trip too, and she kind of develops a little fling with him, even though she's already married. I mean, her and her husband are taking a break, but like, but I don't know, but still, I hate that. I hate when people are like, oh, we're taking a break. So no, that just because you're taking a break does not mean you can hook up with other people, okay? Jeremiah Fisher, I'm looking at you. Like that. And that was essentially like what this whole book was about. And just was not a fan. So I ended up giving it 2 stars, which I hate giving low ratings. Like, it's literally the worst thing in the world. But I'm sure somewhere out there this is someone's favorite book. And if that is, then that's incredible, and I'm so happy for you. But for me personally, I just did not like this book whatsoever. So before I go, I'm gonna show you guys my next trilogy that I'm gonna be starting. I'm probably gonna start this tomorrow because I'm gonna edit this vlog, because I'm gonna edit this video. But my next book trilogy that I'm gonna be reading, and I'm so excited because I'm currently doing a rewatch of the Shadowhunters TV show, and I'm just in a Shadowhunters mood. I'm gonna be reading The Last Hours by Cassandra Clare. Oh my god, look at how pretty they are. I'm literally so excited for this. But yes, no, this is gonna be the next trilogy that I'm reading. So I'll definitely give you guys updates. Also, follow my Instagram. I'll have it linked down here. But I post a lot on Instagram, and so a lot of my reading updates are on Instagram in case you're curious. So yes, but that's my next trilogy I'm reading. I'm so excited. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm so sorry if I just rambled for like an hour, but I love making book videos. They're so fun. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be Move-In Week. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, Snowflakes.